Hi guys, welcome to our Christmas special where we're going to show you some amazing demonstrations that we didn't quite have time for this year. So these are some of the things we've curated that should be a lot of fun. I'm going to start by talking about a bit of physics, we're going to do some chemistry, and then we might have a big explosive ending to wrap it up. Wrap it up, that's a good Christmas one, right? Now, I'm going to start with a pretty simple one. I have two beakers here. The first one is full of cotton balls, and this one is full of a green liquid. Now, it's actually just water with a bit of green food dye to make it a bit Christmassy. But what you can see is that both of the beakers are entirely full, or as close to as can be without spilling any of that green water. If I want to try and put all of my water into the beaker with all of the cotton balls, I kind of want to maybe explore how that would be possible if they're both full. So inside of our cotton balls is a lot of space. Now, it looks all fluffed up, but all of those little gaps are actually spaces that can be filled with something else. All of those fibers are really good at having those little hidden spaces between them. That means that if I want to try and get rid of my green water, so I have a nice empty beaker instead of two full ones, all I need to do, try not to spill too much, is pour my water into the beaker with the cotton balls. Now, not only does the water find those little gaps, but there's actually something at play here called capillary action. That's all those little channels between the fibers pulling the water further and further into the cotton. That means that not only does it sink in between the cotton balls, but it actually sinks in between all the fibers of the ones in there. If I keep going nice and gentle, just so it doesn't spill over that top, we can even see that it's starting to fully fill the beaker. Now, my favorite thing is, when we're all finished, instead of having two full beakers, I actually only have one, even though they both started off full and I didn't make the water disappear anywhere. You can even see as time goes on, more of that water is being pulled through the cotton, but I only spilled a little bit, so there's no way I've made the water disappear. It's all that physics pulling that water into all the spaces we can't see. Now, my favorite reason to do this one for a Christmas episode is because just like after dinner, when you think, there's no way you could fit in dessert, somehow you managed to fit in dessert, right? Okay, I'm not 100% sure about the science on that one, but this is a really cool way to show you capillary action using two full beakers into one. I did tell you we were going to do a little bit of chemistry, but I kind of want to play with chemistry meeting physics. So this one is all about density. Now, in my cylinder here, I already have a red liquid, and I've dissolved a lot of sugar to try and make it as dense as possible. If we look at something less dense, like a liquid with slightly less sugar, I should be able to get them to stay separate just based on the density of the liquid. Now, I already have some in my syringe, and I'm going to very slowly pour this into the side of my cylinder. Now, the slower I go, the less likely they are to mix. And that's all to do with the fact that when it gets to the bottom of the cylinder, if it makes a bit too much of a wave or a stir, it will still mix even though the densities are different. The clear or cloudy liquid I have here only has half as much sugar as the red liquid. And it's actually less sugar than you would find in a can of Coke. I have a second one ready to go because we want to try and get this middle layer to be the thickest in our cylinder. And I'm going to go even slower for this one because actually it is starting to look a bit lighter. I'm going to just empty the whole thing first, maybe going on even more of an angle to try and slow that mixing down. When this one is all finished, we should see that even if that red food dye from the bottom one has started to mix, we should see a noticeable difference in how dark that red is. Let's have a look. Once this one's empty, here we go. Okay. Now, It doesn't look too convincing, does it? I can definitely tell it's a little bit darker here, but what I'm going to do is let that settle a little bit there. Luckily, I have some green liquid as well, and this one's just water with food dye. If I put this one on top, we should see a really obvious difference, especially because this one already has dye in it. This one I have to be even more gentle because when it has no sugar in it, it is the least dense and is the most likely to mix in with the other ones. It will kind of dilute any sugar, so we don't want it to do too much of that. We just want it to sit on top. Now I can already see that top of my cylinder is getting a bit dark. When you mix green with red, you're mixing all of the primary colours. So it does look a little bit gross compared to if you were to do this, say, with just red and clear and get a bit of a candy cane effect. Now we're almost finished with our syringe. Oh, looks a bit funny, I think. Here we go. Almost done. Okay. Now you can see a little bit of that stirring happening, and it's not a very pretty colour, but I can definitely see that there's different layers to it. I think if we leave this one to the side, that middle layer will start to make itself a little bit more obvious. And luckily, we've done this kind of towards the start, so we should see a bit of a change there. I can definitely tell it's a little bit lighter, but I want to see a better result after, so we're going to put that one down. What else could we do? We've got so many fun things today. Look, I just keep looking at this side and there are so many fun beakers. Now, you may be familiar with different types of Christmas decorations, but the little chain garlands are a really, really fun way to look at how forces can affect things as well. If I were to do something like throw this out, even with all the different sized little beads on my garland, it actually should do this phenomenal effect that we call the chain pull. If I hold it up nice and high, tip it over the edge and let go, all of it wow, that sounded a bit like a bell. But all of those beads will pull themselves out. That isn't just because gravity is pulling it down, but it's also because as the beads start to fall, not only are they pulling on the beads behind them, but the ones behind them are actually lifting up the chain. So it does start to pull itself even quicker. If you were to use something like stainless steel beads, because they have more rigidity or the links between them are a bit stronger, you actually start to see a bit of a fountain effect as well. Scientists really only started looking into this about 10 years ago, so it's a really, really fun phenomenon that I'm sure kids at home were doing for many, many years before we started learning about it. But I think we should do one more physics-based before we go to chemistry, and I like to think that if Santa has to deliver gifts to all the kids around the world, he must use a bit of science to do it. How could he possibly go down all those chimneys into all those homes and deliver all those presents without using a bit of science? So I have something here that I think maybe he might utilise, and that is something to do with fast moving air. I've got an acrylic tube, I've got a tray of ping pong balls, and I'm going to be using a leaf blower. Now, I'm not going to try and launch them from the bottom because how will I possibly get them all in there? It's a bit of an awkward angle. So what I'm going to do is move the air over the top of the tube. When I do that, as long as I line it up, I should be able to get the ping pong balls to shoot out of the end, thanks to a bit of a effect by a scientist who was named Bernoulli. He taught us all about this fast moving air, and I'm pretty excited. So let's see how we go. This might be a little bit loud. I am using a leaf blower, but we'll see. Here we go. Are you ready? Okay, that was a lot of fun. Bit noisy, but totally worth it. Now, the hardest part of that whole experiment was trying to make sure I was blowing over the top the same time I was trying to line those ping pong balls up the bottom. Because it wasn't magic, right? It was science. That fast-moving air pulls the current up through the acrylic tube. Because those ping pong balls are so lightweight, they get sucked up with that air nice and easy, and you can see them move up the tube to shoot out all over to the floor. But that's okay, because us presenters here at Street Science are so good at cleaning up mess. Now, if you've watched our videos or maybe seen us do a show in person before, you might recognize our cloud in a bottle. The way this one works is we have a little bit of water in the bottom, and we're going to add a lot of pressure. Now, to do that, we have a rubber stopper attached to this foot pump, but I'm going to pump it with my hand. When you increase the pressure inside that bottle, we don't see much of a change. But we're actually forcing all of those water molecules to compress down to the bottom. The more air I pump in, the harder it gets to hold on. But when I release it, and it might make a bit of a sound, we see those molecules form a bit of a cloud. Now that happens because when we press them down so hard, by releasing pressure, they spring out and take up the whole bottle. But you might have seen a little bit come out of the top as well, and then as those molecules slowly start to settle, it goes back down to the bottom. If I add some more pressure, I can make that speed up and get rid of that cloud in the bottle. This is a reversible change, which means I can do it over and over again because I haven't changed what I have in the bottle. If I keep pressing and release, ready for that noise, we see that cloud again. Now, I do love this demonstration, but I thought to myself, how could we explain it even better in a Christmassy way? So instead of using my water in my bottle, I've actually got another bottle here that's got a bit of a thinner neck because it helps this experiment work. That means I had to have another pump ready to go. And we're going to look at these little styrofoam balls and pretend they're water molecules. Now this part is even trickier, and remember, I am a scientist, not an athlete. But if I hold this on and I start to press down, you can see, the little styrofoam balls start to push down inside that bottle, condensing just like the water molecules. Ooh. The hard part, using your muscles. But let's have a look when I release the pressure this time in 3. Hold on a second. That one didn't work. Let's try that again. When I start to press these down, we can see the styrofoam condensing down. Use all my muscle strength. Okay, ready? In 3, 2. Whoa. Now, most of them stayed inside the bottle, so it definitely didn't go too crazy. But if you remember from the first one, we actually didn't get a lot of that cloud that came out of the top. We only had a little bit of evaporation before the water settled back down into the bottom. If I only filled it a little bit to show you very similarly to that, we probably wouldn't see much happen because we can't really see them condense too much. But the idea is that those molecules are in this bottle the whole time. The evaporation, we just cannot see because at room temperature, we can't actually see water molecules when they're in the air. But it is a fun way to see exactly how those molecules are jumping around, even though we can't usually see them like this. And it's a bit of fun with a bit of glitter for Christmas. Okay, that being said, let's move on to the big finale. I'm going to clear a bit of space for this one. Perfect. Now we are going to finish with a bit of a bang. So here I have a combustion can. Inside are a few different elements. Well, technically there are a lot of elements in there, but I have a flammable powder that contains something called lycopodium. It has a bit of iron and aluminium to help it give a bit of a flash. And there are some metals in there as well, some mineral salts, copper and strontium. Now I do think there is more copper, but that means we should see a change in the color that comes out. There's also a candle, and we're going to attach this tube to something to help our reaction. Because we're working with a flammable powder, I'm going to light the candle on the inside, but it's actually really, really safe because it is only flammable when it has enough surface area to the amount of oxygen. That means that when I put my fire inside the can, there we go, nothing's going to happen because that powder is sitting at the bottom. I need to bring it up into a bit of a cloud around that fire so it can catch a flame. Of course, I'm going to put a lid on top and we're going to see how the lid is affected by gravity as well. I need to hook it up to something to add that air though. So I've got this nice big bike pump here and we're going to just put that hose on the end of our pump. Once I press down, we should see that combustion reaction occur. I can put the lid on now. I can move this one back a little bit and very safely, here we go. Are you ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go. Did you see that? Did you see the color of that flame? Now it was a bit of a greeny blue, and I do think that was because of the copper on the inside. Luckily, the lid didn't go too far, so I can just cover this one up, but that candle has entirely gone out. And that means that even if I accidentally press down on the pump right now, we are just putting air into a can and nothing would happen. Might make a little bit of a mess inside the can, but it's completely safe because we need that air, we need that powder to be up in that cloud, and we also need that heat of the candle for that one to work. That is all of the experiments I had ready to go here though. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining us for a bit of Christmas fun with science. We cannot wait until next year to show you all of the science we've got prepared for you. But we hope you guys have a wonderful break over Christmas time and we'll see you all back for term 1 for more seriously fun science. I've been Emma here at Street Science. See you next time, guys.